Good afternoon, Yavapai County, Arizona, and all others watching our video cast. Welcome back to our show, the show that is 100% dedicated to the Oath Keepers mission and that of the Yavapai County Preparedness Team. My name is Jim Arroyo, and I will be the host for your show. And I want to just let you guys know that the last several videos were showcasing some of the different teams that we have in our community preparedness teams, like our engineering team, our communications, our security team, preparedness, intelligence, and of course our medical team. Well, our medical team, when we first formed, we decided to break out a separate group because we had a large number of people interested in alternative medicine. So our medicine team started with a trauma unit to deal with your basic broken bones, gunshot wounds, lacerations, car accidents, industrial accidents, things of this nature. But the alternative medicine, we created a home medicine team. And today I would like to introduce Bo Hawkins, who is our alternative medicine, home medicine team leader. How you doing, Bo?
Hi.
Thanks for being with us today.
Great being here.
So what we want to do right off the bat is let Bo talk to you a little bit, tell you a little bit about her background. So tell us about yourself and how you got interested in this.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Bo Hawkins. Like Jim said, I am a native here in the great state of Arizona. I come from an old family that were ranchers. And well, I kind of grew up not having access to modern things like a lot of folks, including medical. So my family through generations has always learned how to do things on our own, so to speak. And that included plants, that included a lot of different home remedies and things that enabled us to be a little more self-sufficient. And as a younger person, I thought maybe that's not a great thing. But as I've gotten older, I've really realized that's a really good skill to have.
I think anybody in this field, Janet and I have been involved in this for well over 30 years. We've met some great people in California, so it's always wonderful to have people that are willing to do this and to share their talents. So let me ask you, what got you interested in Oath Keepers in the first place?
So after I left the ranch, I moved into the big city of Chino Valley. And I really wanted to find a good group of people that had that small town feel of really coming together and making their communities strong, making their communities sound and happy. And Oath Keepers really fit that bill.
That's great. We have recruited so many wonderful people into this organization. One of the things we've always still get asked is, do I have to be former military or law enforcement to be a member of the Oath Keepers? And we always tell them no. We have some of the greatest citizens that never served in uniform as part of our organization. And we're always looking to bring in new people with other skill sets that fit within our community preparedness team. But even if you don't have a skill set, we will train you. So let me ask you this, how many years have you been with us now?
Well, I've been with Oath Keepers now for about 3 years. And originally when I came on, I was just interested in helping out in any way I can, and honestly was kind of unsure of telling you guys about my voodoo witch doctor skills and thought that I could get on with the medical team. But truth be told, my interest and love for all of the alternative medicine has just been so strong that it's nice how things worked out.
And that was such a godsend for us, seriously. When we formed our trauma unit and our medical team, we had a pretty good sized crowd, but we had a lot of folks always asking about not dealing with pharmaceuticals or some kind of alternative medicine that dealt with not just internal but also external topical issues. And it turned out that Bo's team grew bigger than the trauma unit. We had more people interested in going with the home medicine. And guys, you're welcome too. There are a lot of men involved in your class, right?
There are plenty of men in the class, and they do really well.
Oh yeah, and they're well versed on some of these things, and that's a good thing. Not everybody wants to get into the blood and the mud, and that's okay. That's why we have a separate unit for that. But we're very happy the way this has come about, and we've got nothing but positive reviews on Bo's teaching and on her capabilities. So tell us a little bit, for those who don't understand home medicine or alternative medicine or things that are not a pharmaceutical, tell us basically what home medicine is for.
So home medicine can be summed up in when you can't get to the doctor. It's not a replacement for the doctor. doctors have done really miraculous things. Our modern medical setup, especially here in the United States, is really amazing. They've saved a lot of lives. But for a lot of us, there are two directions that we tend to look at this. One, there's all those small things that you can take care of that don't require a doctor. But if you don't take care of them, may end up requiring a doctor. So you're kind of trying to keep things from getting to that point. And the second one is, there are a lot of alternatives out there today to treat non-life-threatening illnesses that don't require these pharmaceuticals. That cost money, it costs time to go in and get these prescriptions, it costs a lot in terms of what you have to invest in order to fix that particular thing. And it's nice to be able to not have to go anywhere to do that.
Now, you guys also talk about in your meetings preventative medicine, which is one of the best ways to avoid a doctor. Number one is don't need to be there.
Exactly.
You talk about vitamins and minerals and healthy lifestyle, healthy eating habits. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, the first thing I tell everyone is I am not a health nut, by any stretch. Being a health nut is fun, I definitely promote it, but it's not about the trends. It's just about common sense things that prevent you from ever having to need those expensive medical treatments. So it's not getting into the trendy diets, it's not getting into all the tons of supplements out there. It's more understanding your body, understanding when things start to get a little haywire and how to easily correct them. It's not about these strict, trendy ideas that are out there today.
Now, obviously, we're still kind of in the middle of a pandemic here, and there's been a lot of talk about building immune systems, and I know you've discussed that at numerous lengths. Years ago, before COVID-19 was ever heard of, we had discussed building immune systems, and you gave lectures. Talk a little bit about that, how you recommend people do that to help keep them from getting the COVID virus.
We do. We go over immune systems a lot, and there's two sides to that coin that I like to help people along with. One is actually understanding their immune system. Once you understand it, it's easier to come at it, and it's easier to look at your supplements, to look at your diet and say, this is going to help me along. And the other side of that is, once you understand it, is to put things into action that you know are going to work and aren't just being sold on TV as something that sounds really great. And honestly, the number one immune booster that I could ever recommend to people is to keep their gut microbiota healthy. It's the center of your immune system. If it's not working, if you are dumping the sugar down your gut, you're going to have problems. They found with this COVID and a lot of research that the inflammatory conditions really, really create a much worse disease than those that don't have inflammatory conditions. And as we know, sugar actually causes a lot of that. So people with diabetes, people that are hugely overweight. So that's probably your best bet right there, is just to eliminate those type of conditions.
And I know one thing I've learned from you and from others in this field is having healthy bacteria in your system. It's strange because you hear the term bacteria and you think right away that's a bad thing, but in fact it's not.
It does scare some people.
Yeah, and especially if you've taken an antibiotic recently.
You have none.
It destroys everything, so it's good for people to keep that up. One thing we determined with building immune systems when this virus really kicked in was the difference in having vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin B complex, D3, things of that nature to build yourself. And personally, what I have done, and I work in retail, so I deal with people all day long. I don't wear a mask, I don't wear gloves unless I'm cleaning guns, is I hit my vitamins, the A, B, C, D, and the zinc religiously.
Zinc is hugely helpful with this.
Yeah.
But I would caution folks not to overdo their zinc.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you get a funny taste, you've taken too much.
Exactly. So, okay. So here's going to be an unusual question. This is based on your training. What do you think of the students that you have trained so far? Are they getting the message? Do they understand? Are they going to be helpful in the future if there's a disaster? Do these students really want to learn to do this?
I love the people that come to this class. We have had so much fun making medicines, and I really just had a blast. Even if we didn't learn a thing, we had so much fun. And the result of that is I feel super confident that all those people in the class, I know that there is now one person in every single one of those families that feels confident to be that medical person, that health person in their household, especially in case of emergency.
Excellent. And that's what we're here for, is to train people, to make them good students, but also be force multipliers. You military guys understand what that's all about. The idea is to be able to take what you've learned and give it to others. So in this format that Bo does, that's absolutely vital. It's great to train up a bunch of people, but if they can't take it and pass it along, then it's going to stop right there. So if there was a total collapse of society, we're just going to go worst case scenario. How helpful will home medicine be with dealing with sick and injured?
Well, if you were to rewind 100 years, that's where home medicine comes in. We will be availing ourselves to the exact same local plants, the exact same home remedies that the earlier people that didn't have access to our great modern medical care had. In other words, we're going to have an effect. It's going to be a good effect, and you're going to come out of it much better than if you didn't have it.
And let's relate this issue to modern society. What we have found during all the civil unrest out there, the rioting and the looting, is we learned that at least 170 pharmacies were looted, destroyed, robbed, burned to the ground in Los Angeles. So suddenly all those folks that rely on those pharmaceuticals don't have them available, and it may be a significant amount of time before that is made available again. So if you have somebody who's skilled at home medicine, it can help get you through. Now, obviously, if somebody has life-threatening type medications they require, there are some alternatives to that, but not always. Is that correct?
That is absolutely the case, and that's why we focus also a lot on understanding anatomy, understanding physiology. This isn't all about just the remedies. I want everybody to understand how their bodies work so that they can better make that determination. How big of an emergency is this? How much danger am I in? Do I need to go see a doctor, or can I safely treat this at home?
Exactly, and that's the beauty of Bo's class, is she's not just going to say you need to take this vitamin and mineral so you don't get sick. She's going to teach you the anatomy, the physiology, how the body functions, and why these things work. It's more important to know the why than the how sometimes. And if you know the why, the how will come along much easier. Okay, so let's get into an interesting portion here. If another organization was forming up brand new and they decided they wanted to put together a home medicine team, since you've done this now from the ground up within Oath Keepers, what would you recommend they do first to start a team?
Ooh, I didn't bring any lists with me, but there are so many online resources available to people. There are herbal schools, and these are taught by certified herbalists. They're very educated people. It's not just a bunch of internet woo-woo. There's a plethora of books, and what I seem to run into the most is people are afraid to really just get out there and start. And I promise you, if you just learn how to make your first tincture, you learn your first couple plants, it starts rolling from there. It's something that everybody has access to. Everybody can do this. You just need to realize that you can, and there's a lot of resources out there for you.
So obviously, the first thing it would be to also try to find someone who's already skilled at doing this.
If you can find somebody, in fact, it really would behoove any community even to look in the phone book and call any herbalist, any practicing herbalist. They may be really interested in joining your group.
And that's a great point. Recruitment. You find doctors, nurses, EMTs out there. Go to the herbal remedy people. Go to the CBD oil places. These guys have a wealth of information. And if you can recruit them in, that solves most of your problem right there. And then from there, it's to begin to recruit your students and find the people that are interested. But I guarantee you will find the people that are interested. Bo has a couple of techniques she would like to display for you guys. So let's turn the show over to Bo.
So hi everyone. I wanted to introduce anybody out there that hasn't done anything with herbal medicine or home remedies before. I wanted to introduce a couple easy things that you can do at home for common ailments, such as a winter cold. We all get these winter colds, and there's no known cure, and they're miserable. So today I want to go over an easy essential oil massage oil mix that we can use to get rid of the congestion and inflammation. It's terrible. And second, I wanted to do what I call a hillbilly tincture.
Okay.
I call it a hillbilly tincture because as you get into herbal medicine, you'll find all these ratios and percentages and precise chemistry looking things. And I think it scares a lot of folks and they don't want to branch out and try that first tincture. What I love about hillbilly tincture is you don't have to know all that and you're going to make a usable medicine.
And this is for medicinal purposes only, right?
Sometimes. So let's go ahead and start with our tincture. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the Honeyman here in Prescott. They have a location in Prescott Valley and in Prescott. I buy a lot of my herbs there. They have a really amazing selection of stuff. And if you're local, you're here in Prescott and you want to try some of these things, you can go right over to Honeyman and get this stuff. It comes in these nice little 1 ounce packages, which are perfect for our hillbilly tinctures.
Okay.
So, a pint jar, that's all you're gonna need. You're gonna need some vodka. If you can get it, the Smirnoff 100, which is 50% vodka, is better than regular any other brand vodka because that's a 40%. Both will work, but this is one I recommend a little more.
Okay.
Tinctures are not hard at all. For this tincture, we're going to be tincturing a wild cherry bark, and you'll notice that a lot of your cough syrups, even to this day, still have cherry flavor. The reason being is cherry bark has been used to combat coughs for hundreds of years, and that's because it works. What cherry bark does is it stops that cough reflex. So what I want to do with this cherry bark is I want to make my little hillbilly tincture here, and I want something that I can take a few drops of before I go to bed at night that's going to stop a hacking, persistent cough and let me get some rest.
Got it.
The reason that I want to do this is because my over-the-counter alternatives would be NyQuil, some of these other medications that have a whole bunch of other stuff in them, and they're not going to help me. They may help my symptoms for a minute, but they can also get in the way of my healing.
Okay. That's one of Janet's pet peeves. My wife is also an herbalist, and I'm a NyQuil junkie. I admit that's the first thing I grab. It works. Yeah.
We're just gonna pour in a 1 ounce package of wild cherry bark.
Okay.
Just pour it in there. Now, I don't want anybody to get hung up on this. A lot of people, I say it's like cooking. It doesn't have to be exact. A little bit more, a little bit less, you're fine. It's still gonna work out. It's still gonna be usable. Oh, I have the lid cranked on. And I use this for tincture. I didn't drink this. With 1 ounces, I want about 5 times that amount in liquid volume. So I'm gonna eyeball about 2/3 of a cup.
Okay.
Again, you don't need to measure this. You just wanna eyeball this. That looks about right to me. Now I didn't bring my Sharpie with me, and this is a big one. I do it myself, I forget to label. When you make your tincture, just take a Sharpie, put the date, put what you put in here. So I would put today's date, I would put wild cherry bark, and I would put this in a dark place. Every day, twice a day if you can, just give this a good shake. Just 30 seconds to a minute, give it a nice good shake. Every day you're gonna notice the liquid portion on top is gonna get more and more red as it extracts. So there's 2 reasons why you would tincture any medicine. The first one is I'm not going to eat cherry bark. I'm just not going to do it. That's gross. I can't chew it up. It's just going to be very unpleasant. The second is there's no guarantee that my stomach is going to be able to extract the medication out of this, the actual chemical properties that I want out of this, but the alcohol will. So 2 things. 1, it's much easier to take a few drops of something than try to chew up a plant, a dried, crunchy plant. And also, it's pulling the properties that we want out. This is how pharmaceuticals got their start. They were all plant-based things that were a chemical solvent was used to pull those medicinal properties out. So that's it. That's a tincture. In 4 weeks from now, it's ready to start using.
I was just going to ask you, how long does that sit? So about a month and you're
So
good to go.
about a month, shake it every day. Now, for about a week after you're done, let it settle. Don't shake it after that 4 weeks. Just let it settle, and all that sediment's going to go down to the bottom, and then you can easily pour through a strainer, pour through a coffee filter, something to that nature, and then bottle it. Another great thing is I've made this tincture. It's going to last on my shelf for years.
So you don't need to refrigerate this. You can keep this in your pantry in a cool, dark environment. You're good.
Only thing I tell you is don't put it in direct sunlight. So don't put it on a shelf where the sun's going to hit it all the time.
Right.
It's going to break it down. Other than that, it's stable. It's ready to roll. It's going to work for you for years.
There you go, guys. It's
Not
not rocket
won't do
science.
NyQuil goes bad after a year.
Yeah.
So that's my tincture. If you didn't have any more questions on that one, I'm going to show you my oil.
Okay, let's go on to the oils.
So I'm starting to feel like an alcoholic.
See?
This is a shot glass, but I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It has lines for measurements on it. You can get these at Walmart. I love it because it's got lines for teaspoons, it has lines for ounces, it has lines for tablespoons. And why I love these is when I need to make a very small batch of an essential oil blend for any purpose, I don't want to make a huge amount. We generally don't use huge amounts. So what I want to make now is a small amount of a massage oil that I can use around my face and sinuses when I have that terrible sinus congestion. You get the headache, you get the pressure, your eyes hurt. I want that to go away. And I don't want to take some of these harsher over-the-counter options that I have. I don't want to take Mucinex. I don't want to take the NyQuil. This is my fix. It's going to work in 5 minutes.
Okay.
What I have here is really cheap cooking olive oil. If you want, you can buy finer, nicer oils that you're going to use on your face, such as apricot kernel oil. That's a nice one for your face. You can use grapeseed oil, but it really doesn't matter. The reason I like some of these cheaper oils is they have a much longer shelf life than unrefined oils do.
So the extra virgin olive oils that are a lot more expensive is just not necessary.
It's just not necessary.
Okay. Good to know.
Mostly you're going to worry about is getting zits. If you have really sensitive skin and you're prone to pimples, then I'd say, yeah, use the apricot. But you shouldn't be using the oil so much that you need that. I want to make a 3% solution. Now to do that, I need in my 1 tablespoon, so we're going to go ahead and pour 1 tablespoon of oil. And again, it's like cooking. If you go a little bit over, a little bit under, it's fine. It doesn't have to be exact. So for 1 tablespoon, to make a 3%, I want to add 9 drops of essential oil total.
Okay.
That could be 9 drops of one or 9 drops of the combination here that I'm using.
So
But
9 total.
9 total.
Okay.
Anything more than that, and essential oils can be, they can burn you. They can be just too strong. They really need to be diluted. If I was not going to use this on my face, I might go as high as 5%, but I don't recommend ever going over 5%. But for our purposes, for this coming up, especially right now in the fall, I'm gonna go with a 3% that I can use on my face. Eucalyptus, we all know that one. That's a big one. That clears you out, it's a cold, right? I want to use 3 of this one. So I'm just gonna put in 3 drops and get it to go. Essential oils are not actually an oil, but they are soluble in oil, not soluble in water.
Okay.
So even as I put those drops in, they start to diffuse right away.
Now these are all plant extract type oils.
Now, that's a good point that you bring up. These are actual, pure, real essential oils from plants, not synthetic, not fragrance essential oils. Make sure that when you're buying your essential oils, it is, such as the Now brand, that it is from a plant, not something made in a lab.
Good to know.
Peppermint, here's another one of those minty type things that really helps. I'm gonna put 3 drops of that. And you can smell it all over the room.
I can smell it
Already
from here. It's
starting,
just getting
yeah.
going.
Well, I want to use this one next. Rosemary. A lot of people don't think of rosemary in a medicinal sense. All essential oils really shine as anti-inflammatories. The reason I'm using a mix is because on their own, they add a little bit of their own thing. So rosemary is going to help with the healing. I want to put 2 drops of that. And lastly, I want to put 1 drop of frankincense. Frankincense is the premier anti-inflammatory.
Right.
If you're putting together an arthritic blend, you need this one in there.
Now this goes back to biblical days, guys.
Yes.
Frankincense and myrrh. This has been around forever. It is
1
pricey, but it's well worth it.
Well, we only used 1 drop, so it's all good.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. So when you're ready, I have bangs. You'll want to get your bangs out of your way, and I'm not going to grease my face up right now. You're going to take your 2 fingers, you're going to dip in your oil. I didn't even have to mix this. You can if you want, and you're not going to hurt anything. They just diffuse right in there, those essential oils, as soon as you put them in there. They
Wow.
don't sit on top or anything like that, but they're doing the same to your skin. Essential oils just get sucked right into your skin, and that's why you want to be careful and don't overdo it with these guys. 2 fingers, get it on your fingers. When this is terrible, all you're going to do with your oiled fingers, you're going to start on the inside of your eyebrows, push gently out. Not real fast, just push out. Do it about 3 times. Then you start down here, push out along this ridge bone.
Okay.
And within a few, and you 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It takes about 5 minutes, and what that's doing is it's reducing that inflammation, and it's encouraging drainage, and it starts to happen. You feel it all just start draining out of there. You can breathe again. The pressure is gone. It's amazing.
Wow.
So that's my other quick fix. Do it at home. My 2 teenage boys are not interested at all in this stuff. They frequently, every winter, hey mom, how do you make that oil? And I see them and they're rubbing their faces. It works really, really great.
Now you wouldn't want to put it under your nose so that you're breathing in the fumes. You want it on.
Absolutely, you could use this as a Vicks type thing just to help.
Inhale.
But this portion of your face is so important because this is where all your sinuses are located. So what you're doing is you're adding that little bit of pressure, but helping to push those oils into these areas. Just
That's
making
awesome.
it direct, that's all.
Okay, well guys, there's a very simple couple of techniques. This is just a teaser. You come to Bo's classes, your classes run from about 12:30 to almost 2 o'clock.
They
So
do.
you have an hour and a half, twice a month at our meetings. So there's a chance to get 3 hours of training in every month. And then you can always get a hold of Bo. I know she takes questions from her students all the time. So we absolutely recommend you come to the trainings, get involved, come to the different classes that we put on, and then stay for the main meetings to get more training and some of the intel updates that we put out. So we're going to close this show out. We would just want to remind you guys, we meet the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of every month at the First Southern Baptist Church in Chino Valley. It's 1524 North Highway 89. We'll post it on our MeWe page. Go to MeWe.com. We got kicked off of Facebook because Facebook did a purge, so Oath Keepers got the axe along with a lot of other great patriot groups. But go to Yavapai County Preparedness Team on MeWe, sign up, and we'll post every single meeting there and what the time schedules are if you forget. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.